Hello my dear students, Assalamu alaikum. How are you all? Hope you all are well and I am also fine. This is our English language class. What about your English subject? I know you are taking very good preparation and I think most of the students face problem with one single topic. Can you guess what is the topic? The topic is transformation of sentence, and of course with not all of them. Let's say something. Now in transformation of sentence it covers four types. You all know it very well. According to function there are five types of sentences and we have to change from assertive to interrogative or interrogative to exclamatory and such, and there is another type that is changing of degree of adjectives. Another type is voice change, and you all are very much expert in doing this type of changing. But many students face problem with this type of changing. That is, we know there are three types of sentences according to structure. There are five types of sentences according to function or meaning and three types of sentences according to structure. And we have to change from simple to complex, complex to compound, and vice versa. So what is my duty then? My duty is to make this complex one very much simple for you. Before going to the rules of changing these sentences from simple to complex, complex to compound, and vice versa, we have to have a very clear idea about these three types of sentences. We have to know which is the simple sentence, which is the complex sentence, and which is the compound sentence. Before knowing these three types of sentences, we have to know clause. What is a clause? Yes, you know it very well. A clause is a group of words which may be a full sentence or a part of a sentence, and that must have a subject and of course a finite verb. And there are three types of clause, like principal clause, subordinate clause, and coordinating clause. Now, which is a principal clause? Actually, principal clause is the independent clause, and it doesn't need to depend on anything else to give us a complete meaning. And what is a subordinating clause? This subordinating clause have to depend on the principal clause to give it a full meaning. And which is a coordinating clause? Actually, the principal clauses are known as the coordinating clause when they are used in the compound sentence. Those two clauses are actually principal clauses. They are complete in their meaning. And now we will see the different structure of the same sentence, and we will also know the conjunctions used in complex sentence and in compound sentence. Let's see the structure of simple, complex, and compound sentence. In simple sentence, I already told that it has only one clause, and that is the principal clause. That means it will have only one subject and one finite verb. Let's see an example. Seeing the police, the thief ran away. In this sentence, can you tell me which is the subject? Of course, the thief. And which is the verb? And of course, it should be one finite verb. And this is ran. And rest part of the sentence. You see, seeing, this is not a finite verb. Now, do we know which are the finite and which are the non-finite verbs? Actually, finite verbs are the verbs which change according to person, number, and tense. And the non-finite verbs do not change in any way. It doesn't matter what the tense is, it doesn't matter what the person is, or it doesn't matter what the number is. For these these types of verbs are known as non-finite verbs. So in a simple sentence, there will be only one finite verb. Now let's go to complex sentence. In a complex sentence, there will be two clauses or more than two clauses, and one clause will be principal and the other one will be subordinating clause. And these two clauses are added with subordinating conjunction. It's not like that. This subordinating clause will come always at the end of the sentence. It might happen that the subordinating clause comes first, then subordinating conjunction comes first, then the subordinating clause, and then comes the principal clause. Okay, now let's see another sentence which is an example of complex sentence. Here in this sentence you see, when the thief saw the police, he ran away. Now can you tell me which is the principal clause here? Here, he ran away. This part is the principal clause, because to give a complete meaning it doesn't need any help. But on the contrary, you see, when the thief saw the police, when the thief saw the police, it cannot give a complete sense. So is it a principal clause? No, not of course. It is the subordinate clause, because it is not complete in its meaning. To give a complete meaning, it has to depend on the principal clause. And here you see there are two clauses and two finite verbs. Ran, because of the tense it has become ran, and here the thief saw, because of the tense it is saw. So this verb has become a finite verb here. Next comes compound sentence. In a compound sentence, there may be two or more than two clauses, and these clauses of course will be independent clauses, and that means they are principal clauses. They do not need to depend on the other. They are complete in their meaning, and these clauses are added with coordinating conjunctions. Okay, so let's see the example of compound sentence. The thief saw the police and ran away. That means and he ran away. When these two subjects are the same, it's not mandatory to mention the subject here. Okay, so the thief saw the police, you see this is complete in its meaning. So this is the principal clause, or you can say the independent clause. On the other hand, you see he ran away, this is also another independent clause. So these two clauses are principal clauses. Here they are known as coordinating clauses, and they are added with the coordinating conjunction and you see this verb is finite or non-finite? Of course finite. Another verb, ran away, this is also finite verb. Let me summarize what is finite verb. Sometimes I find many students confused about the finite and non-finite verbs. Finite verbs are actually the verbs which get changed according to person, number and tense. Now let's see what conjunctions are going to be used in complex and compound sentence. And in simple sentence, do we need to use conjunctions in simple sentence? No, not at all, because there is only one principal clause and it doesn't need any conjunction. So let's see what coordinating conjunctions are used to form complex sentences. Some coordinating conjunctions are what, where, whatever, who, why, how, when, whenever, which, whom, whose, even if, even though, unless, since, as if, as long as soon as, because, while, before, after, till, until, etc. And what coordinating conjunctions are used to form compound sentences? Fanboys? Am I crazy? No, I'm not. Of course it is fanboys. For F stands for, A for and, N for nor, B for but, O for or otherwise, Y for yet, and S for so. So these are the coordinating conjunctions which we can use to form compound sentences. Now let's start discussing the rules. And we have to keep in mind some clues so that easily we will be able to transform from simple to complex, from complex to compound, again from compound to simple, okay, and vice versa. So if the simple sentence is in this from to dot dot to, then the complex will be formed with so dot dot that, and the compound will be formed with very dot dot and. Now let's see the structure first. In the simple sentence with this to clue, the structure will be subject plus verb plus to plus adjective plus to plus verb plus other words or extension. Let me give an example. The boy is too weak to work. You see, this is simple sentence. There is one subject and one finite verb. So this is only one clause, and this is the principal clause. And what we have to do, we have to make two clauses. One is principal and the other one is subordinating clause to make it simple. So the structure will be subject plus verb plus so plus adjective plus that. You see, so dot dot that. So plus adjective plus that plus subject plus cannot or could not according to the tense of the verb plus V1, and because we know that after these modals we have to use V1 form plus other words or extension. For example, the boy is, instead of to you have to use so. The boy is so weak that he cannot walk. Why not could not? Because this tense is in the present tense. That's why here we have to use cannot. So here you see two clauses have been formed. One is the boy is so weak, and the other one is that he cannot walk. This is the subordinating clause and this is the principal clause. This is the finite verb and this is the other finite verb. Okay, so this is the example of making complex sentence. And in the compound sentence, you see we have to make two principal clauses, two independent clauses, and we have to use those fanboys conjunctions. Okay, in this case we have to use and we have to use very before the adjective. Okay, so the structure will be subject plus verb plus very plus adjective plus and the coordinating conjunction plus subject plus cannot or could not according to the tense, then plus V1, that means base form of the verb, plus other words. You see the example, the boy is very weak and he cannot walk. You see here we have formed two principal clauses. The first one is the boy is very weak and the other one is he cannot walk. So easily we can say that these two clauses are independent, that means principal clauses, and these two are added with the conjunction, of course the coordinating conjunction and and this is how we have to form the compound sentences of this type. And be very, very careful about the tense. As there is, we have to use cannot here. If there was, suppose the example is the boy was so weak that he could not walk. The same thing will happen for the compound sentence. The boy was very weak and he could not walk. Next comes rule number 2. Actually, rule number 1 and 2 are very close, but there is a very, very important subtle difference between these two. Actually, he is too weak to walk. It gives a negative meaning. But when we say enough to this structure, it gives a positive meaning. Okay, now let's see an example. Let's see the clue first. If there is enough ... to in the simple sentence, you have to make complex with the same rules. So ... that, and compound will be very ... that. In the simple sentence, the structure will be subject plus verb plus adjective plus enough plus to plus verb plus other words. Let's see the example. The question is easy enough. There it was too weak, but here it is easy enough for anybody to answer. Actually, when we use enough and to, it gives a positive meaning. And when we use to, it gives a negative meaning. So what will be the complex form? The structure will be subject plus verb plus so plus adjective plus that plus subject plus almost the same but not, of course, cannot. It will be can or could according to the tense. Then plus V1 form of the verb plus other words. Let's see the example of how to make it complex. The question is so easy that anybody can answer. You see, there are two clauses now. The question is so easy and anybody can answer. Okay, that anybody can answer. This is the subordinating clause. Okay, so if there is was, the question was so easy that anybody could answer. So be very careful about the tense. And how to make it compound? The structure will be subject plus verb plus very plus adjective plus and plus subject and again plus can or could plus V1 form of the verb plus other words. And the sentence, compound sentence will be the question is very easy and anybody could answer. So anybody can answer is one principal clause because it is independent. It can give a complete meaning, and also this clause, the question is very easy, it can also give a complete meaning. So these two clauses are principal clauses. Okay, my dear students, that's all for today's English class, and in the next class we will do more and more rules. And what I can only say today is that the key to success is to start before you're ready. So don't wait for tomorrow. Get ready with your pens and books and start facing the challenges of your life, and success will be yours, inshallah.